this stuff? Garrett brought it in. There you go. Are we live? Can I not say bad things?
You cannot say bad things.
Okay, we're going to start in just a few seconds anyway. So, hi guys, glad you could join us. So you get to see what it's like to set up for a show here. We got the camera set up, we got the lights set. No makeup today, right? No makeup ever, actually. Although my friend Johnny, my friend Johnny did give me makeup to cover up. He says, cover up your forehead. You're a little shiny there, so gotta remember to bring the makeup in.
I like your shiny forehead.
Okay, with shiny forehead?
I like your shiny
We
forehead.
put ads out here. You know, we do promos. Drink more water.
Sell space like NASCAR.
That's right, yeah. Super Greens, an essential source. So if I go older and my hairline recedes, we could actually sell more ads then. So it'll be a benefit to that. There you go. See that? Put it on a tie.
At that point, we could do like a little a punny logo. Put one on there for like whiteout or something.
That's right. Yes. Okay. Oh, here we go.
Brought to you on WSB by Virtual Imaging. The information presented
not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. Fun show today, as always. We're going to talk about how your emotions affect your health. The actual impact of happiness, of sadness, of anger. We're going to answer the question: what part of your brain is being used when you go through the process of being angry? How to come out of the anger state? How to stimulate that part of your brain to help calm you down? And then we're going to answer the question: do angry people actually have a longer or shorter life expectancy? And you're going to be surprised at the answer. So we're going to cover all that too for you. So if you're first joining us, I'm glad you could be here. I am Dr. Joe Esposito. Somebody asked me this the other day. I don't do this. I haven't done this in a while. I'm board certified in chiropractic, orthopedics, pain management. I'm double board certified in nutrition, BS in nutrition, retired dietitian, award-winning author. The show you're hearing now is syndicated all over the world. I think we're the #1 health and wellness radio show on what's called terrestrial radio. And we're also, as far as we know, the #1 streaming health show on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. So make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram so that you can get behind the scenes what's going on. It's kind of cool. So we're going to talk about negative emotions, how they affect your body. Now, positive emotions, such as gratitude, have been shown to help your body heal. And we know this, laughter is the best medicine, these cliches, but your body can heal when you're in a positive mode because it releases endorphins and it stimulates the immune system. But what happens with negative emotions? Do they really wreak havoc with your immunity? They do. The answer is yes. Especially if you're not exercising, if you're not eating properly, if you're not taking the proper supplements, it's a bigger impact. So that's why I want you to take control of the things that you have control over. And then things that happen, stress, driving to work, you get stuck in traffic, you get fired, you have a fight with your significant other. Whatever that is, you may not have control over that, but you have control over your nervous system, over your digestive system, and what you eat. Those are the three things that you have control over. And if you take care of those stresses, other stresses are going to be a lot easier to deal with. Trust me on this. Works a lot easier. I'm going to explain that to you too. Interesting note, certain emotions have been known to be associated with different types of pain. So if you study things like Ayurvedic medicine, which is from India, Indian medicine says that different parts of the body are controlled by different chakras. That if you ever heard that word, and there's different levels of energy that flow through your body, but different parts of the body can be related to different types of emotions. If you suffer depression, oftentimes you have chest pains. Well, there's no physical reason. We've done cardiology studies on our patients. Nothing's wrong there, but you might be having chest pains. Extreme grief can have a devastating impact. So what happens is if you know someone who had a spouse die, especially if they've been together for many, many years, if a spouse dies, the chances of that person dying in the next few weeks skyrockets. The person that survives, of course. So emotions can adversely affect your health, good or bad. And we're going to talk about what happens with bad emotions and then the step-by-step process you have to go through to get the body to essentially reboot itself. Now, the mechanics of mind-body links is starting to unravel. These are things we've talked about for years, and Ayurvedic medicine has studied it. Chinese medicine has studied it for centuries. Finally, Western medicine is going, oh, you know what? Maybe they were right all these thousands of years. So your brain and your thoughts and emotions have distinct control over your experience of physical pain. They can contribute to the development of chronic diseases, and the results can increase your risk of having diseases and or dying. And an increase in the mind-body therapies are really skyrocketing. And this really makes me excited because I've been in practice a long time now. So when I first started in practice, everything was divided. You had cardiologists, you had orthopedists, you had neurologists, you had chiropractors, you had physical therapists, and everybody did their own thing and kind of fought with the other professions. They didn't get along very well. Now we're seeing that everybody's coming together, and that's so exciting to see that the professions are coming together because who benefits? You do. You're the patient. And as the patient, you're going to benefit from this because years ago, I mean, it's kind of silly, not that long ago, chiropractors couldn't even refer for an MRI. You had to have a medical doctor refer to a specialist, and it was just crazy. And I thought, wait a minute, why can't I refer to you where my patient pays you and you make money? Didn't even make any sense. So the rules have kind of gotten a lot better, a lot more logical, if I can say that. And so the interrelatedness of healthcare is now coming along with the mind-body connection and emotions. So let's talk about the science of anger. Okay, got plenty of time here. Here's an example. Somebody cuts you off in traffic. Okay, your response is anger. When this happens, stress chemicals are released. You go into what's called the fight or flight syndrome. That's the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And it prepares your body for quick action. Just the other day, somebody turned into my lane, and I don't know how I missed them. It must have been, I visualized the impact in my head, and somehow I turned the wheel, and I avoided the accident. So this all happens within a split second. I'm going to go through the process in just a second. So the sights, the sounds, what happens is the amygdala, that's part of your brain, okay? The amygdala sends a distress message to your hypothalamus. If you've listened to the show before, you've heard me talk a lot about the hypothalamus. It's where you feel hunger or you feel full. And so the hypothalamus does a lot of things. So the amygdala says, okay, somebody just cut me off. What do I do? Okay, let's send a message to the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus will tell me what my next step is. So the hypothalamus is linked to your central nervous system. So it communicates with various parts of your body, what's called the autonomic nervous system. There's two types of nerves in your body. One you can feel, okay, that's the sensory, but 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. It's the autonomic, or what I remember as the automatic nervous system. My heart beats, my lungs breathe, my eyes see, my colon digests food, my earwax is being formed right now. It's the autonomic nervous system. It's just happening automatically. And from a chiropractic standpoint, we look at that. Because if somebody has a pinched nerve, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, you know about that. That's pretty obvious. I have a headache, I have numbness in my arm, and that's why so many patients come to our offices, because they say, Doc, I have a symptom. I have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, and my team of doctors are really, really good at helping control pain. However, 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. You don't feel your blood pressure, your spleen, your thyroid, your kidneys. So you can have an autonomic or an automatic nervous system problem and not know about it. So what that means is you can have a pinched nerve and not know it. So this autonomic nervous system is responding. The amygdala sends a message to hypothalamus. Hypothalamus sends a message down to central nervous system, and it increases your blood pressure. It increases your heart rate. It increases your breathing. It dilates your pupils. It constricts your blood vessels to increase circulation through the body. All of this happens in a split second. And so what happens when this becomes a more chronic issue? So the autonomic nervous, got to go to break. The autonomic nervous system has two branches, the sympathetics and the parasympathetics. Sympathetic speed you up. Parasympathetic slow you down. We're going to talk about what happens when you go into that sympathetic mode. You're in that fight mode. And how do you shift back to the parasympathetic mode so you don't get stuck in that sympathetic mode and then you have some real problems health-wise long-term. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. If you have any health questions, I'm going to open up the phone lines. The number here is 844-44-DR-JOE, 844-44-DRJOE. My website, drjoe.com. Hey, folks, tell your friends about the show. We'll be right back.
We know how important the news, weather, and traffic are to you. Stay connected to Atlanta and WSB in the iHeartRadio app. Listen to Mark Aram, Von Hessler, and Eric Erickson anywhere you go. On the other side of the country or the other side of the globe. WSB everywhere. Live in the iHeartRadio app, in the App Store, or on Google Play.
Are you scared of the boom? The one just before your lights go out? Who knows how long you'll be sitting there in the dark? An automatic backup generator kicks in as soon as your power crashes, but you need a pro to design your system. Generators are not one size fits all. So get your free system design and estimate when you call Brightbox Electrical. I'm Dave Baker. My experts who never leave me in the dark, Brightbox Electrical. Get up to $1,000 off and 2 years maintenance for a limited time. Call Brightbox Electrical and don't fear the boom.
Are you experiencing hot flashes or fatigue? Do you suffer from sleepless nights or low libido? You could be suffering from a hormonal imbalance, which can cause you to feel like a stranger in your own skin. North Fulton Compounding Pharmacy can work with your doctor to develop a bioidentical hormone replacement therapy specific to your needs and get your body back in balance the natural way. Vitamins and supplements go hand in hand with hormone replacement therapy.
But wow. There it is.
Was there no audio?
Yeah, it was the commercial.
Oh, you're right in the commercial. Oops. Don't.
He was playing the radio instead of you.
Oh, that's why. Okay. Hopefully we won't get yelled at for that.
Okay, Instagram.
Hi, Instagram.
Love the mind-body connection. So important. Do you think that hospitals will eventually accept herbal remedies?
Oh, absolutely. No, it's the trend is happening now. I see it in the hospitals now where 30 years ago they wouldn't even talk to, wackadoodles like me and herbal remedy people. And now they're bringing in nutritionists, they're bringing in meditation, they're bringing in acupuncture, chiropractic. I got an offer. In fact, we're negotiating an offer right now to set up a clinic, a pain management clinic in a hospital, one of the major hospital chain in Atlanta. So, yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah. And that's why this show is pushing it. And that's why I want you guys to share these links when we do these shows to get the word out, because you never know who's going to catch your share or who's going to catch somebody else's share, and they're going to say, this is really interesting. We should really incorporate this into our hospital, workplace, whatever. A lot of companies hire me as a speaker. We come in, we do workshops for companies on wellness, and really is powerful and influential, and it saves them a ton of money, too, because it saves money on insurance. People get better. Another question?
Yes, this one is a good question for you. What helps eye health?
I have macular degeneration. So I was diagnosed, 7, 8 years. I guess, 6, 7, 8 years. I don't even remember. Garrett's got the pictures of my eyes. We got to put it on the website, as a matter of fact.
We are writing a blog about it currently.
Oh, I'm writing a blog about it currently, Garrett tells me, so that's good. And I have macular degeneration. I was told by my eye doctor, nothing you can do. It's either going to stay the same or get worse. It is what it is. You might go blind. Game over. So, of course, I don't accept that. So that's when I really started focusing on Super Greens and Essential Source and taking it every day, sometimes twice a day. And then over the past few years, and we're going to post my pictures of my eyes have gotten about 60 to 80% better, which is unheard of. I remember the first time my eye doctor saw my original picture, my second picture, he physically started to shake. And I thought I had a brain tumor. And I said, what's wrong? He says, your macular degeneration is getting better. He says, it can't get better. It's impossible. And I said, well, show it to me. And he showed it to me. And then he hired another doctor who I currently see now, and she looked at my pictures, and she's looking at them and looking at them. And I said, you think they're backwards, right? You think the dates are wrong? She goes, yeah, the dates are obviously wrong. And I said, no, they're right. The macular degeneration is getting better, not worse. And she said, that's impossible. It can't get better. And she's actually submitted my case to like the Ophthalmological Institute of whatever. And now she sends all her patients with any type of eye issues to my website, our website, to get Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. And both rows on the website, drjoe.com.
You missed the best part of that story.
What?
Was the first time you had him look at your eyes. I've heard this story
yes
a dozen times. But the best part for me was always you walked in, you'd been waiting on these test results. He puts the pictures up, he's looking at them, and he's not saying anything, and you never want a doctor who's looking at your test results to say, wait, this has got to be wrong.
Yes.
Like, you never want
That's true.
to
I was
hear
scared
that.
to death. I was, actually. Garrett's right. I was very scared.
Do you have any questions?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
What is your opinion of cervical epidural for neck pain? And I got that right. I know I got that right.
When Garrett gets a word right, or Sierra, they get a bell. So Garrett gets a bell on that one. I would prefer chiropractic care first, because you're only allowed to have 3 shots in an area of your spine in one area in your lifetime. So, oops. Hold that one.
That's why you listen to Dr. Joe Esposito on WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. We're talking about the mind-body connection and how emotions affect your health, the negative impact that emotions have on your health, or the positive. We talked about the positive a little earlier too. So we said what happens is when you get stressed out, something happens stressful, you're about to get in a car accident or somebody threatened you or whatever, the amygdala processes all that. That's a part of your brain. It sends a message to the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus says, okay, what do I do about this? Hypothalamus sends messages throughout your whole body. And it can dilate your pupils, constrict your blood vessels, increase your blood pressure, increase your heart rate, your breathing, put you in what's called the sympathetic mode. There's 2 types of nerves in your body. Sympathetic speed you up, parasympathetic slow you down. And so now suddenly you're in the sympathetic mode. You're in that fight or flight, but you're fighting. You're ready to take on whatever it is. And if once you're in that mode, you're ready to fight. But the problem is many people get stuck, so to speak, in the sympathetic mode. When we do analysis, we do a nutrition analysis on every one of our patients, and sometimes we find that they have what's called sympathetic dominance. They're just not slowing down. They're not getting a message to their body to kick into the parasympathetic mode. So when your hypothalamus activates the sympathetic nervous system, your adrenal glands, you've heard me talk about them, release adrenaline. Now, adrenal glands are little glands. They sit on top of your kidneys, and they release adrenaline. They control inflammation, and they also produce your sex hormones, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. And so if you're under stress, your adrenal glands are not producing the hormones like they're supposed to. They're producing another hormone called cortisol. Now, cortisol is your stress hormone. And when you're under chronic stress, you have chronic levels of high cortisol. So in our office, we can test your cortisol. We have a little kit we send home with you, and it's a salivary test. You test your saliva, and your cortisol is supposed to peak and then drop off as the day goes on, and then you get tired, and then you go to sleep, and then at night the cortisol level rises again. And that's a normal cycle. But if you're always high, the cortisol level is always pumping out, you're stuck in this sympathetic mode, this stressful mode. And so we can scientifically, clinically test it. And if you do have that, then we've got to take steps to get the cortisol levels down. A supplement I take every single day is Dr. Joe's Adrenal Support, because as we get older, the adrenal glands start to poop out. Now, if you're over 30 and you have stress in your life, whether chemical, physical, or emotional stress, chances are your adrenals are being stressed, and it's a good idea to probably take some adrenal support. And that's one of the things I take every day. I take Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, which that's the minimum amount of nutrients you should take every day. And I take those every day. I take adrenal support. I take B-complex. If I eat a cooked meal, I take digestive enzymes. I take vitamin D. So you want to make sure you're getting the minimum amount of nutrients. And the thing is that 30, 40 years ago, the soil was much richer. It had a lot more nutrients in it. But we've overfarmed a lot of the land. We don't do crop rotation, so we keep putting the same crops over and over and over again, which suck the nutrients out of the soil. So you don't have the same nutrients in an apple that your mother or your grandmother ate that you're eating, even if it's organic. And so that's why I recommend supplementation, because we just can't keep the pace with food. And I other people might say differently, but I know from my research, if I didn't have to take supplements, I wouldn't. But I can't imagine not taking Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source and the other ones we talked about at least once a day. Now, if I have a big stressful day, if I have a bunch of radio shows I got to do, if I got to fly out and give a lecture, do a TV show, then I will go ahead and take a double dose of Super Greens and Essential Source. Tastes great. It's 2 powders mixed with coconut milk, almond milk. Shake it up and drink it. I like to mix them together because Super Greens by itself is a little green flavor. Now, if some people don't mind that, to me it's a little too green. So I add the Essential Source and the Super Greens together. If you want to add a little bit of stevia to it, a coconut milk, frozen banana, some frozen berries, and whip it up, it's amazing. So those are on the website, drjoe.com. If you're not going to do anything else, folks, if you're under stress, chemical, mental, or physical stress, or if you just want to be healthy, get the Super Greens, the Essential Source. I think you'll be really happy with that. So what happens is the sudden release of chemicals causes your heart rate to go up, your blood pressure increases, and in turn makes you breathe more rapidly, and then it releases glucose and fats that are stored in your body to be used as quick energy. So the body says, okay, we need quick energy. Bam, it releases all this stuff into the body. This is why anger can actually make you turn red, because you're opening up the blood vessels, you're releasing fat, you're releasing this energy back into the body. So this chain of events occurs so quickly that it's already in full swing before your brain's visual center has fully processed what happened. So like this accident I almost got into the other day. By the time I moved, I don't know how my body got out of this accident, how my car got out of the way. I have no idea how it happened. I got back on the road. I went, wow, that was really close. And this has happened to you too, I'm sure. And then about 30 seconds later, it's like, but I was holding my breath. I was so scared. And so that's what happens to you as well. Again, short term, not that big a deal. So what's supposed to happen now? I'm in this stressful mode. My amygdala sends message to my hypothalamus sends message to my adrenal glands, and everything's happening at once. Now we've got to shift down. And another part of your brain kicks in called the prefrontal cortex. Now the prefrontal cortex forms when you're around 25 years old. It's the part of your brain that lets you understand risk-reward. So this is why when you're young, you do stupid things. Because your prefrontal cortex hasn't fully formed yet, and you don't understand the risk-benefit ratio. I'm going to climb up on that rock, man. That's going to be really cool. As you get older and the prefrontal cortex forms, you say, yeah, but then I could fall and die. Maybe I shouldn't do that. So the prefrontal cortex helps a lot. And so when you're dealing with people, especially teenagers, they may do stupid things. I did. I remember, I was a big brawny football player in high school and trying to start fights all the time. It's like, what are you, stupid? I was fighting guys bigger than me on other football teams just because they were on another football team. I had my long hair, my beard. I thought it was tough. And how stupid is that? Because these guys could crush me. But the reason is your prefrontal cortex hasn't fully formed yet. So what happens is that's an area of your brain that executes complex cognitive and social behavior. You don't say stupid things. You bite your tongue. You're a filter. You do have a filter in your brain. And so you might say things when you're younger that you probably wouldn't say when you're older when you realize what's going to happen. So without the engagement of the prefrontal cortex, you're incapable of self-constraint and logical thought process. So this is why you fly off the handle. So as you get older, your prefrontal cortex is supposed to form. Some people don't. So that's what happens is you may not be getting all the benefits of that. We have some callers here. If you have a question, 844-44-Dr.Joe. We're going to talk about studies coming up on anger and what happens to the body when you're angry. So if you have a question, give us a call, 844-44-Dr.Joe. Jay, how can we make your day better?
Hello.
Yes, Jay.
Dr. Joe.
Yes, Jay.
Blessings to you and your show.
Thank you.
I would, I'm about 3 weeks or more late. I don't get to show up here in the woods where I'm at, Shangri-La, but I wanted to thank you for the sacrifice you've made to learn about the anatomy of the human body.
Thank you. Okay, we got about 45 seconds, Jay.
Okay, let me make this fast. Dr. Irwin is amazing. I've been seeing him, and the second time off the table, I have been just, since 2012, I was in pain and debilitated. And because I've been going to your office, I am relieved of my pain, and I'm going to continue going there for maintenance. And I just want to lift up the holy name of Yeshua and thank you that you made that sacrifice and your associates
thanks,
have
Jay.
made the sacrifice to learn
thanks, Jay.
the anatomy of the human body.
All right, Jay, we're right up against the break, man. Okay, thanks so much, Jay. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. The phone number here, 844-44-Dr. We'll be right back.
Did you know that over 90% of male enhancement pills are virtually the same thing that's repackaged, redone over and over again? Why settle for the same old product when you can get something completely different? Something that takes male enhancement into the 21st century. Something that really works. Men, you need to try Noxitril, the all-natural male enhancement formula that will unlock your performance in the bedroom to a level you could only dream of. Try to imagine Viagra on steroids. Noxitril is so powerful, that's why it took years for it to finally become available to the public without a prescription. So call now and take advantage of our special Noxitril free bottle offer today. Oh yeah, we recommend that you use the Noxitril dose as directed. Think of your partner. We certainly don't want you to overperform in the bedroom.
To find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril, call 800-217-1579, 800-217-1579. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now, 800-217-1579, 800-217-1579.
What happened? You used to go hours without visiting the bathroom. Now it seems like you're constantly getting up to pee, and you're even getting up at night to go. This is not okay. Listen, the makers of Super Beta Prostate, the #1 prostate formula, are introducing a new wonder pill, Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced, with 3 key ingredients that are great for your prostate. It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one. To celebrate, we're sending free bottles to men who want to cut down on bathroom trips. Yes, your first 30-day supply is free. Pay shipping and handling. Call 1-800-204-0104. Early research suggests that an ingredient in P3 Advanced may help support a normal prostate size. Combine that with a reduction in urges to pee, and you have a formula you'd be crazy not to try. Get P3 Advanced free. Call 1-800-204-0104. 1-800-204-0104. 1-800-204-0104.
This is Atlanta's 24-hour news, weather, and traffic. News 95.5 and AM 750. WSB. Atlanta's news starts now.
At 7:30, I'm Jennifer Griffiths, live in the WSB 24-hour news center with WSB's top stories this half hour. We now know the official lineup for Super Bowl 53 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Atlanta rapper Big Boy and Travis Scott will be joining the halftime show as guest performers alongside Maroon 5. Tomorrow, a big day for Georgia as the state will swear in its new governor, Brian Kemp. Press Secretary Cody Hall tells Channel 2 Action News.
The budget will be released later on that week in the state of the state, and trying to keep all those things headed in the right direction.
Around 8,000 people are expected to pack Georgia Tech's McCamish Pavilion. Gwinnett County Police are on the scene of a deadly shooting at the Ashford-Jackson Creek Apartments in Norcross. This is off of Sunrise Village Lane. A traveler carrying a firearm boarded a flight from Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport and flew to Tokyo apparently on January 3rd. That's according to a statement from the TSA. The TSA says they've determined procedures were not followed and a passenger did, in fact, pass through a standard screening TSA checkpoint with a firearm at the airport. This comes in the middle of a partial government shutdown. WSB News Time is 7:31.
WSB is known for delivering in-depth local news for your morning commute and for your drive home. The time has come to give you Atlanta's evening news in the 4 p.m. hour.
Atlanta's evening news now begins at 4 with Eric Erickson and WSB traffic every 6 minutes.
News 95.5 and AM 750. WSB. Depend on it.
Dr. Joe Esposito here with Dr. Rick Ambrosic, who's been one of the most interesting guests I've ever had on my show. Dr. Ambrosic has been working and researching stem cell treatment for about 10 years now, but recent advancements have seen a huge increase in the results and applications. Dr. Ambrosic, tell us about the latest advancements that you've seen.
Well, the greatest and latest advancement we've seen is the development of Wharton's jelly. Stem cell therapy has come a long way since the year 2000.
There we go. He's getting so excited today.
Thank you for letting us know, Misty.
Good job, Misty.
Okay, no more. I'm doing that. So for those questions again, that no one just had answers to.
Sorry, Facebook.
Okay, ashwagandha, awesome.
Ashwagandha is good, and you want citrate.
Magnesium citrate is great, yes. Mm-hmm.
And yes, all of your spine being out of alignment can cause all the bad things.
Yes, a bulging disc. Yes. Anything Sierra's learned. I'll give her a bell for that because she's done so well.
All the bad things.
So your neck being out of alignment can cause a runny nose.
Runny nose, right? Because it's the nerve supply that goes up into the sinuses. Just if you have acid reflux or heartburn, the acid can be coming up into your sinuses, causing that as well. So yeah, and you can I adjust people all the time, and their sinuses open up or dry up. So yeah.
And then the herniated disc can cause high blood pressure.
Absolutely, yes. Because you pinch a nerve that controls the blood vessels itself, controls the heart, controls the vagus nerve. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what's the best detox for heavy metals?
Well, I would start with Dr. Joe's. It's called Doctor Supervised Weight Loss Program, but that's a detox. So you got to clean out your bowels. You got to get the body cleaned up first because the heavy metals are the last thing to go. So get on Dr. Joe's, it's called Doctor Supervised Weight Loss Program. Do we have that on the website?
We don't actually. We're rolling that out along with an email coming to you guys talking about the new special for the Doctor Assisted Weight Loss Program.
Yes, but if you call the office, ask for Tara or Kayla, they'll get you on that. Let's get that cleaned out first, and then we get you on some special heavy metal stuff like cilantro. It's very good for detoxifying heavy metals. We got to eat like a bunch a day. But it's no big deal. Just eat a bunch a day. It's cheap. It's 30 cents, 40 cents, you know.
So is it not so much worth it just to start out with the cilantro or something like that? Rather, it's better just to clean the whole body first.
Yes.
And then start focusing on that.
Yes, clean the pipes and then get into the more difficult stuff. Yes. Absolutely.
Are we coming back?
We should be coming back soon. Yeah, there's traffic, so. Mod's rubbing his beard. He looks very serious.
Do you know what Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome is?
Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, yes.
Okay. What? Just says, what about EDS with neck problems and not holding adjustments?
That's a big problem, actually, because Ehlers-Danlos is when you have weak ligaments. And the atlas, the connective ligament up there, people bend their elbows back, and it bends back to real loose skin. Yeah, so that's a big issue. So what we do is we try to get the person on really good diet to try to get the ligaments that they have and the muscles that they have to work well. We treat a lot of Ehlers-Danlos patients.
Here's one I want to catch quickly. Can you give Essential Source and Super Grains to a 21-month-old baby? She's on a feeding tube because of aspiration, so she wouldn't taste it. If so,
yes, I'd start with maybe a quarter teaspoon.
Okay.
Yes.
That was the next question. Was dose.
Okay, here we come back.
Depend on it.
Does this sound like you? Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, headaches? Chances are you'd benefit from chiropractic care. Most people benefit from chiropractic care because chiropractic care tries to get to the cause of your problems and not just cover up the symptoms. If you're ready to get well, I want you to go to my website, drjoe.com, or call 844-44-Dr.Joe and make an appointment for you, your friends, and your family today. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Make an appointment today so we can help get you well and keep you well. Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're there because today we're talking about how emotions affect your health. And we went into a little chemistry and physiology there. And if you missed that, you might want to go to my website, drjoe.com. And this show will be on the website tomorrow, along with well over 1,000 other shows of audios and videos. And people call in all the time with questions. And many times we've done a show on your topic. So if you ever want to do that, just go to the website, look up the topic. You can put it in the search bar and see if we've done a whole show on it. Because many times a question, we can give you a quick answer, but you may need a little bit more in depth. So that's always on the website, drjoe.com. If you have any healthcare questions, lines are open here at the studio at 844-44-Dr. Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. So we talked about how the body works, and the amygdala sends a message to the hypothalamus, which sends a message to the adrenal glands, which kicks in the sympathetic nervous system and releases cortisol, and the whole physiology of what happens when you're stressed out. But now what happens when you got to downshift, you got to reboot, you got to come out of that stressful mode. Your body needs to kick in something called the prefrontal cortex. And that's a part of the brain that's your filter. I'm sure you've met people and they have no filter. Well, they actually don't. Their prefrontal cortex may not be as developed as it should be. And that's why many people don't have a filter. So it's the part of your brain that controls risk. And you don't realize what you're doing and what you're saying, and you're more spontaneous, maybe is the right word, when your prefrontal cortex isn't working. Studies showed subliminal anger messages affect your decision-making skills. Behavioral and physiological impact of anger when your anger state compromises the efficiency of the cognitive process. Cognitive is you thinking. So your thought process is kind of messed up. Now, the good news is this. There are scientific ways that you can actually strengthen your brain region and improve your self-control. Make the prefrontal cortex work better. Isn't that cool that we can actually make ourselves more logical? Yes, Mr. Spock would be happy about that. Number one, what do you think it is? Eat a healthy diet. When you're eating good foods, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, what's going to happen is the body is going to function more efficiently. And I know this because I have people that come in and I look at their diets and they're usually pretty angry and they're usually pretty hostile. And once we get them straightened out, they become little kitty cats. And so that's what's kind of cool. They calm down and they say it to me too. They say, Doc, what have you done to me? My life is so much easier. I'm so much less stressed. My family is happy with me. I'm not fighting anymore. I'm enjoying life. I'm sleeping at night. My love life has come back again. Because romance is a parasympathetic function. Parasympathetic nerves slow you down. Sympathetic speeds you up. So if you're always in the sympathetic mode, romance is something that's put to the back burner because it's not something that your body's going to want to do. Because think about it. In nature, you wouldn't want to reproduce if you're always stressed out. And that could be physical stress, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, headaches, numbness, tingling, emotional stress, and then chemical stress. Chemical stress is the bad food you eat. When you eat the 7 deadly sins, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, what happens is your body is under chemical stress. The body's most likely going to be producing a lot more cortisol. It's not going to be producing your sex hormones, testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone, and the other ones. So, yeah, chemical stress can be a big issue. So eating a good diet helps your body function more normally. Making sure you're getting quality supplements in your diet. Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Minimum amount of nutrients you should be taking every day. Super Greens and Essential Source. Adrenal Support if you're under stress. I take Adrenal Support every day. Vitamin D, especially in the winter. Make sure you're getting 5,000 international units of vitamin D every single day. Vitamin D3, not vitamin D2. If you've been if you've had antibiotics or you eat a commercial diet with a lot of animal products that have antibiotics in it, you probably want to take a probiotic. Probiotics are good bacteria, and the antibiotics are killing the good bacteria. You got to feed the good bacteria. The nitric oxide is wonderful for brain function. I was just discussing this the other night with my buddy Tim, and he's a mountain biker, and he says, man, I can tell you, when I take the nitric oxide, I work out better, I feel better. He says it's just amazing. He said, I get a better workout, I come back, I heal. You know, he doesn't have the tightness after his workouts. And so a lot of people are using nitric oxide as a workout motivator, if you will. It helps circulation to the brain. because when you get stressed out, the blood vessels tighten to raise the pressure, but it can slow down it put too much pressure on the brain. So the nitric oxide can relax and open up your blood vessels. Little warning for you, if you're taking blood pressure medication and you start taking nitric oxide support, Dr. Joe's nitric oxide support, it's on the website, drjoe.com, monitor your blood pressure, because your blood pressure may start to drop dramatically. And if it does, you have to make a decision. Stop the medication or stop the nitric oxide. I know what I would do, of course. Chiropractic care is great for blood pressure, too. Adjustments, somebody off, at the break, we talked about this. Many times chiropractic care can help lower the blood pressure as well, because pinched nerves can affect function of the blood vessels. And so this is why so many patients, when they get under our care, say, Dr. Joe, I went to my doctor and my blood pressure's down. He's taking me off my medication. And we tried. Our goal is not to take you off your medication. Our goal is get you healthy enough so you don't need the medication. And if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, chances are you're suffering. And so why are you suffering needlessly? And I don't know that answer, because once I learned about natural health and chiropractic and nutrition and getting my stomach adjusted, if the stomach is up against the diaphragm, you need to pull the stomach back down. Once I learned about all these things, I'm just fascinated that the whole world just doesn't do it. Why wouldn't you do it? It's quick, it's easy, it's relatively inexpensive, relatively painless, relatively safe. I don't get why you wouldn't take the control of your own life so that you can get your life back. And every day in my practices, my patients report to my doctors, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I suffer for so long? So let's talk about other things we can do to help the prefrontal cortex and the brain work more efficiently. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Most adults need between 7 and 9 hours of sleep a day. Couple of tricks. Make sure your room is dark. Make sure the room is comfortable temperature. I love it when it's cold. I like to bundle up and sleep and throw lots of blankets on and put a turtleneck on if I have to, and I like to. That's how I sleep best. Make sure that the room is quiet. If it's not quiet, put in some earplugs. If the room is not dark, put a mask on. You can buy a sleep mask for $5 at a drugstore. Make sure you're not having to get up and pee all night. Some people say, well, Doc, I wake up 4 or 5 times a night to pee, and that interrupts my sleep. So what do? You got to find out what hour it is that you can stop drinking a lot of fluids. For me, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If I start drinking around 4 or 5 in the afternoon, not alcohol, but anything, I probably have to get up and pee. So right around 3 o'clock, I drink all my fluids before 3 o'clock, and then afterwards I'll have a sip or two. I mean, I went out to dinner last night, and I had a sip of a little water there, but it's not something I have on a regular basis because I know it's going to wake me up. Make sure you're getting regular exercise. When it comes to strengthening your prefrontal cortex, relaxation exercises and intense workouts both work. So if you can't do an intense workout, do whatever you can. Take the stairs and park far away and go for a walk and clean the house or whatever exercise makes you happy. Yoga is excellent. Meditation is spectacular for getting the prefrontal cortex to start to work again. If just tuning in, the prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain that calms you down. You're in a stressful situation, the prefrontal cortex kicks in and says, okay, time to relax, time to go into the parasympathetic mode. And if the prefrontal cortex isn't working properly because you're stressing it, it's not going to do what it's supposed to do. All right, I hear the music playing, so when we come back, I'm going to tell you what else we can do to get the prefrontal cortex working. Really important stuff. And if you have any questions, lines are open, 844-44-DR-JOE, 844-44-DRJOE. My website is drjoe.com. Hey, do me a favor, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. A lot of times we live stream these shows, and then you can watch them. And then at the break, we also have little breakout sessions for the folks that are doing that. Send me your email address as well, because many times we send out specials. We do maybe pop-up lectures, and we want to make sure you have your email address. We'll never give it out to anybody, I promise. Number here at the studio, 844-44-DR-JOE. If you have healthcare questions, my website, drjoe.com. We'll be right back. Does this sound like you? Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, headaches? Chances are you'd benefit from chiropractic care. Most people benefit from chiropractic care because chiropractic care tries to get to the cause of your problems and not just cover up the symptoms. If you're ready to get well, I want you to go to my website, drjoe.com, or call 844-44-DR-JOE and make an appointment for you, your friends, and your family today. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Make an appointment today so we can help get you well and keep you well. Hi. Okay, questions?
Why are the super grains and essential sours not organic?
Because if they were organic, they'd be outrageously overpriced and nobody can do it. Because we did a survey way back when to find out what the people want, and they wanted to be able to afford it. So when you start going organic with the amount of volume that we put in there, it would be outrageously overpriced. And that's the only reason we don't do it. That being said, you're nodding, Garrett?
Yeah, I was going to say that I was actually just talking to a manufacturer, somebody that we were going to try to do that with, and it was going to be 3 to 4 times the cost.
Right.
Not for us, but for you guys.
For you guys. So if you want to spend $120 a month, right? That's about 4 times the cost, yeah. Yeah, so that's why we don't do it. Now that 160, I'm sorry, $160.
Just for Essential Source.
Just for Essential Source, that's one. So I wanted to make it available to more people. And the thing is that it's all tested. There's no pesticides. There's no residuals in there at all of any toxic chemicals. So that's why we're very careful on our manufacturing process, but that's why they're not organic, because the price would just be too much for you.
Okay. And at the same time, you may notice us run out of something every now and again. And that's part of the process, is that we are working very closely with the different manufacturers on the raw materials that come in. We're checking things. We're making sure it's right. If something's out of stock, it's because it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I mean, we know how much we have to order. We have to order a lot. And if we run out, it's because, like Garrett said, something came through, it was tested, and it didn't meet our high standards. And that's why we sometimes go a little behind on our orders. So if we ever run out, don't give up on us. You can place your order as soon as it comes in. Garrett will get it shipped out the day it comes in, I promise you. Because when we get shipments in, Garrett and Tina are just like crazy people. They're like, "Wah!" Don't even talk to them.
So what can somebody do for joint pain?
Chiropractic care is the most obvious thing, because if bones are out of alignment, they rub up against each other, and that's by far the most common cause of joint pain. So nitric oxide might help from a supplement standpoint. Super Green's an essential source. Alkalize your system, because many times there's joint pain, so it's acid.
Lowering that inflammation.
Lowering the inflammation. You got to cut out all your sugars, especially your fructose, because fructose converts into uric acid, which gets into your joints and it hurts. But most times when you have joint pain, it's a physical problem, not just a chemical problem. So.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Is parsley tea good for detox?
Yes, it's okay. Cilantro's better. So I'd use cilantro more than parsley. Yes. But parsley tea's fine.
So this person said that they just finished reading parts of your book regarding juicing.
Yes.
And we're wondering what your opinion was on masticating juicers.
They're great. Absolutely wonderful. I think it's great. Masticating means you just grind it up into a pulp. Those are awesome.
Meaning you still get the pulp.
You still get the pulp. You drink everything. So that's why if you're going to juice, I recommend you grind up everything. Okay, just have to keep listening. But that's why we invented Essential Source, because we take fruits and vegetables, juice them, take the water out at a very low temperature, and what's left is a powder. That's almost as good as fresh squeezed, because we take the water out very quickly before a lot of oxidation occurs. So that's why the Essential Source is like juicing fruits and vegetables every day. But the masticating juicer is absolutely the best. The problem is it's expensive. People don't do it in most cases.
So what's the problem of having juice without the pulp? Or juicing something and...
You're losing a lot of the phytonutrients. You're losing the fiber. There are things called phytonutrients that actually interact with the body. They help fight cancer. They help with inflammation. So if you juice it, and also the sugar. If you have the fiber, it pushes the sugar through the colon. You get a slow release of the sugar. If you're juicing it, you're drinking pure sugar. So that's why if you're going to juice, mostly vegetables, a little bit of fruit. That's a great question.
Okay, and back to the lady with
Ehlers-Danlos?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a bell for that, because you did very well on that. So
I really need some help with diet and weight loss to help with Ehlers-Danlos. I'm really overweight and I feel horrible all the time, and my depression is up because of mast cell activation.
Yes, of course. So step number 1, call tomorrow, call the office, Kayla or Tara, get on a Dr.Joe 21-day doctor-supervised weight loss program. That's a detox and a cleanse. Once we do that, then we go into phase 2. We get you on a line of supplements. We get you eating good foods. We get you doing intermittent fasting. We get all the bad food, here's the secret, out of the house. If the bad food is in the house, you're going to eat it, because I'm going to eat it. And I like it. We talk about willpower. I have incredible willpower. But a friend of mine came to visit me a while ago, and he was making all this vegan lasagna and vegan cornbread, and I put on like 4 pounds in a week. Why? Because it was there. I then took the food from my house, brought it to the office, and had everybody eat it, so that I wouldn't have this concentrated amount of food that was just spectacular and delicious. And I think, Garrett, you'll vouch for it. It was good, right?
Yes. And all of this coming from the man that lost weight on a cruise.
I did lose weight on a cruise, yes. Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're there. We're having a great show today, as always. Number here at the studio, if you have any questions, 844-44-DR-JOE. 844-44-DRJOE. Talking about what happens when you're angry and how emotions affect your health. So I want to cover this. I'm going to talk about people that have short fuses, that they really live longer. As soon as I finish this, Neil and Rhonda, I'm going to get to your questions in just a second. So we talked about managing your stress is so, so important. If you know how to do meditation, if not, learn. It's very, very simple. If you have physical stress, we talked about managing the stress to take the stress off the prefrontal cortex. Because what's happening is when you produce all these chemicals from the adrenal glands, adrenaline, and other stress hormones, cortisol, it's bombarding the brain. And it's constantly bombarding it to the point where the brain just gets overwhelmed and the brain starts to shut down. So you have to stop the production of these chemicals that are short-term life-saving. Long-term can be deadly. And so you have to stop that bombardment of those chemicals that are being released. So meditation is great. If you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, chances are you have a pinched nerve. And as a team of chiropractors in the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We want to be your doctors. We want to help you get well and stay well. We want to put you on the programs that you need to get well. So you can always go to my website, drjoe.com, make an appointment. We'd love to see you. So do that right now before you forget, because if you're like me, you go, I got to go do that. Whoop, shiny object, squirrel, and off you go. So you have to focus on that. So write it down if you don't do it right now, or go to the website and you can book it right online. So get out of the physical pain. In most cases, we're very good at helping you do that. But here's the thing. You have to do what we say. You can't come in for one visit and go, well, that didn't help. How long have you had the problem? 47 years now. Well, yeah, we're not that good. It's going to take a little time. So we're going to put together a protocol to get you well as quick as possible. Chemically, take the stress off your body chemically. Stay away from the alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. At least take super greens, an essential source. Nitric oxide to increase circulation. B-complex to help the nervous system work properly. Probiotics to help the immune system. Vitamin D for just about everything in the universe. So make sure you're putting the right nutrients in your body. Get on a supplement protocol. Eat something raw at every meal. Broccoli, cucumbers, tomatoes, avocados, salad. And watch what happens. You'll be blown away. You really will, I promise you. And if you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, come see us. Your stomach might be pushed up against your diaphragm. We need to pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. Physically adjust the stomach. It really is cool when we do that, and people they want to name their kids after you when you fix their stomachs. And when you take the chemical, physical, and emotional stress off the brain and off the prefrontal cortex, it's able to start functioning more efficiently. So what's going to happen is you're going to make better decisions, and you're going to get healthier faster. So when anger strikes, you have to stop, because what happens when you're under stress? You hold your breath. What do kids do? They throw a temper tantrum and hold their breath. Sometimes they pass out. That's all right. If they pass out, they're going to start breathing again. So when you're under stress, 10 deep breaths. That alone is going to get some oxygen up into your brain, and that's going to help the prefrontal cortex and the rest of the brain reboot itself. Now, let's start taking some callers at 844-44-Dr.Joe. Neil, how can we make your day better? Hello, Neil. Hello, Neil. Going once. Going twice. All right, Neil, I'm going to put you back on hold. All right. Rhonda, how can we make your day better?
Good evening, Dr. Joe. I appreciate you taking the time to answer my question.
You are welcome.
I know that you're promoting your healthy greens and your supplements and stuff, but if someone's on a bunch of prescription medicines, isn't it bad for the liver to take too many supplements for it to have to digest? And can't some of the supplements and over-the-counter stuff interact and affect prescription medicines? If you take too much of stuff, can it counteract?
The answer is yes, but not with our supplements. Like, for example, if you take birth control pills and you take grapefruit and you eat grapefruits or drink grapefruit juice, it can weaken the strength of the birth control pills. So Gary, we probably need to do a show on that. Let's why don't we do
that? Actually. If at least maybe a 4 or 5 minute little video clip.
Yeah, we'll do a little video clip maybe. That's why you want to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, because we do send out videos almost every day now. But the supplements we have, there's really no interaction. The only concern I would have is if you're on a blood thinner, because the supplements we have, the Super Green Essentials, have vitamin K in it. So if you're on a blood thinner, make sure you tell your doctor, I'm taking Dr. Joe supplements that have vitamin K. Then they can monitor your blood and then adjust the medicine accordingly. The traditional thought is, well, I can't take supplements because I'm on medication. No, how about we alter the medication because I'm on supplements? Much better way to look at it. So, no, in fact, a lot of things that you can do, like if you're taking a lot of medication, I usually recommend milk thistle for a patient to detoxify the liver. Now, we have a great milk thistle at the office, and I got to take a little bit at a time, because if I take a teaspoon, which is the recommended dosage, I get a blazing headache because my liver detoxifies so quickly. So the answer is no, as long as you're taking it right. The only concern I would have is if you're on blood thinners.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thanks, Rhonda. I appreciate the call. All right, how are we doing on? Oh, we got time. Let's take another caller here. Neil, there you are. How can we make your day better?
Can you hear me this time?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. You got about 3 minutes.
How's my favorite doctor?
Oh, Neil, I'm doing great, man.
I see the clock. I'm going to try to submit my question in 30 seconds or less. If I go over the time, interrupt me. I'm sure you'll understand the question. I'd like to revisit last week. Due to the constraints of time, you weren't able to fully answer this. I think it's of interest to the listeners. So may I proceed quickly?
All right, real quick. Go ahead.
Okay, so human growth hormone precursor dietary supplementation therapy has been touted as a panacea for at least 30 years for all types of pathologies. I took it on a regular basis for years. It did not regrow my hair. Furthermore, we know that animal products are detrimental to health, and the primary ingredient in these things is either porcine or bovine pituitary glandular extract. Okay, so my question is simple. How could these supplements have any safety or medical efficacy if growth hormones in the diet and xenoestrogens and endocrine disruptors in the environment are so pathogenic?
Well, they can, I mean, glandulars do work. I'm a vegan, of course, and obviously you and I are singing the same song here. But glandulars have been proven to work in certain cases. With the growth hormone, I'd rather that we start to get your adrenal glands and your pituitary gland working more efficiently to produce your own growth hormone. So that's my approach, is we get the adrenals working, and that helps everything else work. I'm not a big fan of taking any type of exogenous or external hormones, because the commercial used to say it's not nice to fool Mother Nature, and I'm not a big fan of taking exogenous hormones. So I'm with you 100% on that.
So there's not a great difference between the growth hormones we find in the diet and these supplements?
Correct.
They both can be dangerous?
They both can be dangerous, absolutely. Yep.
If we have 10 more seconds, I'd like to try to help you with a couple of quick tips.
I'm going to have to put you on hold, Neil. I got to put you on hold, Neil. We got to go to the break, okay? Hold on. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. If you have a healthcare question, give us a call, 844-44-DR-Joe. My website, drjoe.com. If you want to make an appointment to come see us. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We would love to be your doctors. Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain. Go to my website, drjoe.com. Hey, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
It's worth knowing what's really going on. That's why.
Hold the thought.
Watches your elected officials, investigates how your tax dollars are spent, and provides more county-by-county coverage of important local issues.
Hey, Sierra, stand in for me, quick. Answer questions. That's Sierra, by the way. You never get to see her wave. There you go. She brightens up the place, doesn't she? All right, folks. You have questions. I have answers.
Okay, so back to the Ormus.
Yes.
I got upload vids to give me a breakdown so that you could have an educated answer.
Okay.
So he's going to educate you.
Okay.
Ormus is similar to colloids with metals. Certain metals like gold and platinum are supposedly really good for brain function. Just some information I came across in search for supplement knowledge.
Okay.
So what would your opinion be on... Sorry, I thought he was responding. So what would your opinion be on something like Ormus minerals, being that they are similar to colloids?
I'd have to look them up. I don't know enough about them to give an answer on that one. So
Too much?
I'm gonna plead the fifth on this one until I know more. Okay, good. Next question.
Okay, I take super greens and essential source first thing in the morning, but in the evening I crave them again. Will it keep me awake, or is it okay to take them in the evening?
You can take them in the evening, try it. It keeps me awake. It gives me too much energy, but you can try it and see what happens. So maybe take a half dose, see how you do with that, then go to a full dose. A lot of people take them at night are fine. I'm weird. So, but absolutely, if you can take them twice a day, big score.
What's good to bring up your iron?
Super green's an essential source. Anything green, anything red.
Anything green.
So red beans, rhubarb. I know rhubarb. Who eats rhubarb? But anything green or anything red is going to raise those iron levels up. Okay, and I'd rather do the plant-based iron instead of the heme iron, which is the blood iron, which comes from animals.
I was going to say, my first response was anti-Dr. Joe.
That's
Give
right.
him the beef.
Eat more meat. Where's the beef? No, because that's heme iron, and it many times has chemicals in it and toxins in it, and it's hard to assimilate. So that's why I'd rather go with the non-heme iron, which has vitamin C with it, which is easily assimilated. So, yes. So super green is an essential source. If it continues to stay low, then you might want to consider getting checked to see if you have any internal bleeding. But that's probably not the issue. Okay, you usually have other symptoms with that.
What would be red?
Red beans, strawberries,
Red beans,
cherries.
strawberries.
Okay.
Oh, so
plums.
strawberries, actually.
Yeah, plums. Anything red. Yeah.
Beets.
Beets. There you go. Beets are loaded with iron. I'm going to give her a bell for that. There you go.
I was just watching The Office. Dwight has a beet farm, so that's what made me think about
Okay,
it.
The
But,
Office. Now we're using your Office as our medical references. Dwight as our medical reference.
I just thought about beets, like.
Bears, beets, Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
That's
anyways,
Yes.
back to the seriousness.
Yes, seriousness.
How do you relax? How do you relax and keep calm while also staying alert and not being drowsy?
Oh, okay. So deep breathing is amazing. When you breathe, it's called yoga breathing, where you suck in and you make sure your stomach expands first, and then your chest, and then you exhale. And once you think all the air is out, push it again. And when you do 10 deep breaths like that, you're not going to get tired. You actually get energized, and that'll calm you down as well, kicking in the parasympathetics.
I always did that just from being in choir for so long. And then I was laying down, and Dr. Cat was working on my back, and she said, take a deep breath. And I did, and she said, oh, you're actually breathing.
Most people, don't breathe. So.
And I didn't realize I was.
You were doing so well. See, you were trained well.
All right.
Next.
Here comes one from a part-time vegan, now full-blown.
All right.
Finally giving up
Out of
those
the park, man. You hit a home
eggs
run.
and dairy. I take super greens, an essential source. Other than B12, what other supplements should I take as a vegan?
That's all you need. Well, super greens is an essential source. I take Adrenal Support just because we all need that. It's not a vegan thing.
No,
vitamin D.
time, yeah, I was gonna say
You gotta take your vitamin D. We all need vitamin D, so that's not a vegan question. That's an everybody question. Vitamin D, nitric oxide if you have circulatory issues.
There's plenty of iron in the essential source.
The only thing that we don't get as vegans that animal eaters get are, just waving to Renee, is the B12, because B12 is found when bacteria are digesting the carcasses of dead animals, and they excrete vitamin B12, and then we can absorb it. Then that's how you get it from meat. But the downside of eating animal products so far outweighs the fact you just need a little vitamin B in a lifetime. B12, we use a thimbleful of vitamin B12 in a lifetime. That's how much vitamin B12 you use. So you don't need a lot. You just need to make sure you're getting it, and that's what you need. You can use nutritional yeast that's fortified with B12 as well. Liners. Oh, I said go to work. I'm sorry. All right, hold those thoughts, guys. Got to go to work. That's why Ahmad's the producer. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and this week we're talking about how negative emotions or positive emotions can affect your health. You don't want to miss this show. Dr. Joe Esposito here. This week on my show, we're talking about how negative and positive emotions can affect your health and how you can actually reboot your brain. Hey, we're talking about negative and positive emotions and how they affect your health and what you need to do to get your brain right again. This week on the Dr. Joe Show.
Job.
Bam.
Like a professional.
That's why we're professionals here.
All right. What
Okay.
about adding fiber to veggie juice? Is it psyllium? Is that how you say it?
You can add psyllium. Oh, she gets a bell for the psyllium. There you go. I think she's way ahead of you today, Garrett.
That's not fair though. She threw out both pronunciations.
She said psyllium.
I said the right one.
She said it right first. I'm sorry, Garrett. I think she.
But Garrett did get a harder word. He got that really hard word right.
That's right. He did. Yes. I don't know. I think she might be beating you today. I don't know. So.
I don't know if I'm gonna
To
count
take
the
credit.
ashwagandha. I already knew what that was.
I see, and I already knew what EDS was too, so I knew.
Okay, so
Alright,
both surrender report. We'll call it even. We're starting fresh now. In this hour, we're starting fresh. Okay. You can add psyllium seed to it if you'd like to. Make sure you grind it. Same thing with flax seeds. Make sure you grind it. Flax seeds many times gives people a lot of gas, so I'd like the psyllium seeds, but just make sure you grind them. If you take too much of them, it can actually be binding in your colon and have the exact opposite effect. So just a little bit, half teaspoon, maximum a tablespoon a day, but make sure you grind it first. Get a coffee grinder, grind it up.
Instagram, we will be right back. If I did not get to your question, ask it again on the next video, please.
Yes, please just resend it.
Okay. Next question. Do you think that the vitamin K, Heb B shots, and eye ointment that the nurses administer after birth is necessary for a newborn?
my personal opinion, no, I don't think they're necessary. Okay? That being said, it's a standard. So the vitamin K, I'm not too worried about. I'm not happy with any type of vaccine or anything, especially that early on. So my personal feeling is no.
Give them more time.
That's right. And when I was young, they used to put silver nitrate in our eyes in case my mother, or your mother, had gonorrhea. And when you pass through the birth canal, the gonorrhea could get in your eyes and make you go blind. So they put drops in. But they test the mothers for gonorrhea right before delivery. So to me, that's one of those crazy things that I never understood. But now at least they just use an antibiotic and not silver nitrate in the eyes. But I'm not a big fan of that either, especially if they just tested the mother. So we should be coming back soon. So,
well, here's a quick one. What do you recommend for IBS?
Chiropractic care, adjust the stomach, super greens an essential source to absorb the nutrients. We did a show on that last week, didn't we? Yeah. Go to my website and listen to the show from last week.
Brought to you on WSB by
Virtual Imaging. The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
If you think your best years are behind you, you're wrong. Listen to Dr. Joe Esposito every week on WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. We're talking about how emotions affect your health, positive or negative. And we talked about how the body goes through a process. The amygdala sends a message to the hypothalamus, to the adrenal glands, and how you go into that reaction mode where you're fighting, you're ready to defend yourself. And then we talked about how do you downshift? How do you go into the parasympathetic or the slow down mode? And you need something called your prefrontal cortex. And that's another part of your brain that now takes over from the stress mode and lets you make logical decisions and helps calm you down. You cannot make logical, rational decisions if your prefrontal cortex is not working properly. And many times you, the generic you, not you, because you're our listeners, of course, you guys are better than everybody else. You're bombarding your brain with chemical, physical, and emotional stress. And you're putting bad things like alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas into the brain, and you're not replenishing the nutrients. And so now the prefrontal cortex is like a wall and just being knocked down, and it doesn't work properly. And so by eating the right diet, taking things like Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, nitric oxide, just rebuilding the nutrients in your body might be able to help reboot or rebuild the prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex is the thing that prevents you from doing stupid things. And so it's really important the prefrontal cortex works. Young kids don't have it. It forms right around 25 years old. And so it's really important that prefrontal cortex is working, or else you can get stuck in the sympathetic or the stressed out mode and you don't downshift. And then when you're stressed and angry, what do? You do stupid things. And that creates more chemicals which are bombarding the brain. So we really need to understand what's happening. It's okay to get stressed out. You know, right now, if a shot rings out right near you, you're going to hit the ground. You're supposed to get stressed out. But then when you realize, it wasn't that, I don't know, Garrett broke a bottle or something, and it was, okay, now I'm okay. My parasympathetics kick in, and I'm back to normal again. But if you're not able to do that, if you're not able to shift back and forth from sympathetic or the speed up mode to parasympathetic or the slow down mode, your body is going to suffer. It always is. And so that's why it's important you take care of your brain. So we said when anger strikes, take 5 or 10 deep breaths, and let's see if you can get the body to reboot. I want to talk about people that are little edgy, short-fused people, but I did want to go back to Neil here. You still there, Neil?
Yes, thank you very much for taking a quick remark. I'll be off in 30 seconds. I'll run both my comments together and hang up, let the call get on. Instead of all those sticky Post-it notes you have around, why don't you consider what I've done for decades, carry around a $30 or $40 digital voice recorder the size of a pack of gum, hundreds of hours of recording time. You can put down your appointments, alarms for your appointments. That's number one. Number two, little birdie told me sometimes you might suffer from occasional headaches like cluster or migraines. I'm sure that you're qualified to get to the etiology of that pathology. I'm not. However, in the meantime, you haven't forgotten that pure peppermint oil applied topically is very effective.
Nope, you're absolutely right, Neil. Good call. All right, brother. Appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Yep, that's Neil. He listens all the time. We got lots of regular listeners there from all over the world. And Neil is from Florida, I think, if I'm correct. So, all right, so let's talk about short-fused people. Do they actually live longer? The answer is no, they don't. Don't be silly. Of course, the stress is going to kill you there. Frequent anger associated with heightened risk of high blood pressure and heart problems, heart attack, and stroke. So this is why when you get angry, you could actually have a heart attack. Biological reason for this? Norepinephrine and epinephrine, which is stress, adrenaline, is released and it causes your blood vessels to constrict, which raises the blood pressure. The smaller the blood vessel, the higher the pressure. That's second law of hydrodynamics? I don't know. I have to get an engineer on that one. Maybe it's the first law of hydrodynamics. One knows the laws of hydrodynamics. The smaller the blood vessel, the higher the pressure. Also, when you're under stress, you release glucose and fatty acids into your blood, which are okay short term. It gives you energy. But when they're chronically elevated, that can damage your blood vessels and contribute to things like hardening of the arteries. So stress is a big player when it comes to hardening the arteries. Now, as a chiropractor, my team of doctors, we take x-rays on our patients on a regular basis because we want to make sure we're doing the right treatment for you. And it's amazing how many people we look at their x-rays and they have hardening of the arteries. And it's fun. It's weird because we're going over the x-rays with them and we show them the structure, the bones are out of place, the discs are worn out, the nerves are being pinched, and then we show them the hardening of the arteries, and that's all they focus on. And so I try to save that to the end of going over the report with them, because if you have it in your pelvis, if it shows up on an x-ray, you have it in your heart and your brain as well. And so we really need to get the diet straightened out to make sure that you're getting well as quick as possible. And the nice part is with a good diet, in most cases, that hardening of the arteries, arteriosclerosis, will dissolve. And I love it when we take x-rays on a patient and then we show them the x-rays. 6 months, a year later, we take another x-ray and they can actually see the plaque dissolving. And they get so excited, and many times they cry and they're happy and they say, oh my God, this is the lifestyle I want to live forever. And there's no reason not to live this healthy lifestyle. It's cheaper than anything you're doing right now. It's easier than anything you're doing right now. It slows down the aging process. You feel better, improves your love life. You have more energy. You sleep better. You go to the bathroom better. There's no downside to doing this. I don't understand why the whole world doesn't get chiropractic checkups to make sure they don't have pinched nerves, and if they do, get them fixed. Why the whole world doesn't just eat a good diet. It's cheaper and easier and quicker than anything you're doing right now. Much quicker than going out to dinner. And you're probably going to live longer. So you'll have a lot of more money to spend in your healthy later years. So to me, it's a no-brainer. And that's why we created Super Greens and Essential Source, because it's so easy. It's not really hard. You can take it, it's 2 powders, mix it with some coconut milk, ramen milk, drink it down, and bam, you're done. It literally takes less than 30 seconds to do it. And you can mix it with frozen fruit, bananas if you want to, or berries, and you make a smoothie out of it. Just spectacular. And it's fruits and vegetables. We juice it and take the water out. So it's a whole lot easier and a whole lot cheaper and more convenient than having a juicer. Because most people, I have a juicer. In fact, I just found it the other day. I found it. I forgot I even had it. I said, oh, yeah, this is my juicer. I forgot. I don't do that anymore because I have Super Greens and Essential Source. So taking care of the body chemically is really important. And when you get this stress and the chronic release of fat into the blood and sugar into the blood, the glucose, that can cause hardening of the arteries long term. And so, that being said, even in intense bouts of anger, there's risks. One study, individuals' risk of heart attack rose nearly 5-fold, and their risk of stroke increased more than 3-fold within 2 hours of an angry outburst. So every time you get angry, you're going to increase your risk of heart disease and stroke, heart attack and stroke. So why do that, folks? Especially now that I'm teaching you the tools to stabilize your emotions and get the brain working properly. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. If you have a healthcare question, lines are open at 844-44-DR-JOE, 844-44-DRJOE. My website, drjoe.com. You can order the supplements there. You can make appointments there. You can listen to podcasts. Hey, follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. We stream a lot of our shows. Send us your email address. We send out a newsletter very infrequently, but many times we have pop-up lectures or specials. You definitely want to do that. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, headaches. Maybe it's time to stop suffering and it's time to take action. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, why don't you come see me and my team of doctors and let's see if you have a problem that we can help. Go to my website, drjoe.com, or call 844-44-DR-JOE to make an appointment today, because so many of you are out there suffering needlessly and we want to put a stop to that. Come see us at our offices in Marietta, Stockbridge, and Duluth. Make an appointment today so we can help get you well and keep you well. Okay, Banky, what do you got?
You stated that both relaxation and intense exercise help the prefrontal cortex.
That is correct.
How does that work when they are opposite activities?
Because when you rest, it allows the body to relax and the blood vessels to relax and increase and allow normal circulation. Exercise does essentially the same thing. Exercise gets you into sympathetic mode, but allows the body to then shift into the parasympathetic mode. So even though they're opposite, they're both necessary for the brain. The brain has to have balance. Your brain needs oxygen, stimulation, and nutrition. Got to talk about that on the air. That's a good one. Oxygen, stimulation, and nutrition. That's what it needs to work properly.
That makes sense, because one of the best things that I ever did for my ADHD going through school was football workouts in the morning or cardio in the morning.
Yes.
Exercising to relax the brain.
Yeah. Exercise it mobilizes a lot of toxins. It increases your body's ability to get rid of waste products. And so your body needs both. Yeah.
Now, what is your opinion of black seed oil?
Black seed oil is great. That's the new buzzword. We go through these cycles of what's the buzz. And black seed oil is the buzz du jour. It's good. Is it necessary if everything else is right? Probably not. Okay. But it's okay.
Now, can I administer and self-massage in order to move my stomach down from my...
I wish you could. Because I have this same condition. Garrett has the same condition. And believe me, if there was a way you can adjust your own stomach, I would have figured it out and I would have taught him. You can't. Because I've tried every contortion known to humanity. Nothing works. You have to have somebody else do it. And all my doctors are trained by me to treat me. So if they can treat me, I trust them treating you. So.
I've tried to think of any way that you could like lean back in a chair,
But they come at it
or
from
like
this angle.
some way that you can like lean back and press that it's still not like pulling in some way with your arms.
Yeah, no, because when mine acts up, if I'm not around one of my docs, I don't know what to do. So I've tried everything known to man. And sorry, Charlie.
How is grown American superfood other than expensive? Do you know what grown American superfood?
I do. It's a pretty good product. Yeah, I'm not adverse to it. Yeah, I think ours is better because there's a lot more stuff in it than just the fruits and the vegetables, and that's why I created ours. But it's a good product. I'm not going to knock it. Yeah.
Okay, and then also, what are some? This is the same person that asked about the exercise and resting. What are some health-related reasons why some people have a less developed prefrontal cortex than others?
It could be birth, it could be genetics, it could be that the brain wasn't stimulated as a child. You need constant stimulation for children. The more input they get, the brain is a muscle. It could be that they have toxicity, it could be that they just, the way their brain is formed. So there is no one answer for that one.
Is that why I'm so smart then?
That's why you're so smart. I got your prefrontal.
Like so many video games. And...
That's what it is. Well, that's actually exercise. That really, I mean, sadly enough, I hate to admit it, but it's true.
Also, why does it develop so late, and can it develop earlier?
Can it develop earlier? Yes. Why it develops late? You got to call somebody upstairs on that one. I don't know that answer.
Ask him about the prefrontal cortex. Ask him about the knees.
Yeah, I'm not happy with the knee joint. When I die, I got a lot of questions for God. Okay. Yes. But, you know, Garrett, with you, I mean, we play with you, of course, but you do a lot of video games, but you do a lot of physical activity as well. You play, what's that game you play?
Airsoft,
yeah. It's like paintball sort of type thing, right?
Yes.
So you have both, which is great. A lot of people don't in your generation, to pick on you millennials. You just get so hung up on computers and you don't go out and do the physical. And you do the chemical too, and you get chiropractic care. Mm-hmm. So you've got a well-rounded life, which is great, which is probably why your brain works as well as it does. So, yes.
Yeah, I was reading a tweet earlier. I don't tweet, but I read tweets.
Oh, you read tweets.
And the tweet was something along the lines of, my favorite part of Sunday is going over everything I have to do for the week and wanting to kill myself. And I just thought, like, I'm sorry. No. I can't relate anymore.
Yeah, you're right. Now you're like, oh my gosh, this is what I get to do this week. Is that all? Mm-hmm. That's how I feel. Look at my calendar every week and go, yes, this is awesome.
Should an MS patient who is allergic to the medications that they're on be on a gluten-free, dairy-free diet?
Absolutely, especially dairy. Yes, and also no artificial sweetener. If you're doing MSG, glutamic acid can mimic MS symptoms, symptom for symptom. So, and then super green is an essential source, of course.
Now, if you're taking a blood thinner, can you take vitamin K?
Stronger and healthier with Dr. Joe on News 95.5 at AM 750 WSB.
Your answer is
Garrett's laughing over there. Ma's laughing at me. Why are you laughing at me? Actually, what we do is we live stream a lot of these shows, folks. And if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can see my pretty face. And a lot of times we're in the middle of answering questions at the break, and then it's like, radio's back on. We got to go. So make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram because that's important because you can get to see my pretty face. And then send us your email address so we can put you on our newsletter list because we do send out a lot of good information. All right, so we're talking today about emotions, negative emotions or positive emotions, and how they can affect your health. So research published in the journal Circulation, I'm sure you have that journal in your bathroom right now, further showed that men who frequently felt anger and hostility had an increased risk of atrial fibrillation, which is irregular heartbeat. Other negative emotions, such as depression and loneliness, have also been linked to higher risk of heart disease and stroke. And this is a big issue, especially among the elderly. Folks, these people get lonely. They're so used to being in control of their lives, and you may know somebody who's even retired, not necessarily elderly, but retired. And they're used to being, the alpha male, if that's the right word. And they've always been in charge, and they maybe had a family or a job. And now suddenly, now what happens? And there's a great line from Alan Parsons' song. And the line is, where do we go from here now that all the children have grown up? And how do we spend our time knowing nobody gives us a damn? And I love that line because I can picture someone in a nursing home thinking that, where do we go now that the children have grown up? And children are metaphorical, your friends, your family. And I love Alan Parsons anyway, but think about that. So if you know somebody and you think, well, I'm too busy, I just don't have time, make the time for them. It's going to 10 minutes, 20 minutes of your time is going to change their lives and reduce their risk of heart disease and stroke and actually of dying. Really is important that you take care of these people. I know we have a lot of patients that are elderly, and when they come in, sometimes it's the highlight of their day. Their whole plan is, well, I'm going to go see Dr. Joe's team of doctors, and I'm going to get my chiropractic visit. So it's not only a health visit, it's a social visit as well. Now, sometimes we don't have a lot of time to talk with the folks. We're pretty busy. But think about that. And loneliness is one of those things that can really increase your risk of heart disease and stroke. So if you are lonely, get out. I know that's easy for me to say, but maybe join a group, find a social group that has an interest of yours. Like I'm a vegan. I follow all these different vegan groups. I don't get to go to a lot of the events they have because I'm too busy. But think about that. Now, we talked about AFib. If you're under stress, AFib is atrial fibrillation. Another thing that caused my AFib when I was a child, my stomach was pushed up against my diaphragm. And the nerve that controls your digestive system is called the vagus nerve. It also has control over your heart. So many, many times, and myself included, if the stomach is pushed up into the diaphragm, you might have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, chronic cough, runny nose. The acid is coming up into the throat from the stomach, but it's irritating the vagus nerve. And when the vagus nerve gets irritated, it can send a message over to the heart, which can cause the heart to go into AFib. Because when I was a kid, I had this really weird heartbeat. It would beat, and then it would stop, and then it would go fast, and it would go slow. And once I got my stomach adjusted, and I got the nerve supply from my spine going to the stomach adjusted, my AFib went away. And we have a lot of patients with AFib and blood pressure that drops once they start getting chiropractic care. And the chiropractic care, not just the spine, but everything. You got to get the spine working. You got to get the stomach working as well. So that's another thing that we take care of a lot of in our offices. So if you have neck pain or back pain or shoulder pain, digestive issues, if you've ever been in a car accident, I have to say this at least once a show. If the car was damaged, you were damaged. It's funny, I saw some lawyer advertising on TV, one of those big law firms advertising, and they said almost those exact same words. And I'm thinking, they're stealing my line. That's my line, man. So if the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. Go to my website, drjoe.com, and make an appointment to come see us so that we can get you well. All right, let's take some more callers. Mary, how can we make your day better?
Hi, Dr. Joe. My husband has taken the Essential Source and Super Greens.
Good.
And I'd like him to add 2 tablespoons of organic extra virgin coconut oil. And I wondered if that was okay and if it would raise his cholesterol levels.
No, it's perfectly fine. I've never known coconut oil to raise cholesterol levels. You're perfectly fine with that. So as long as it's organic, you're right on target, Mary. I support that 100%.
Okay. Well, great. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mary. Appreciate it. All right, folks, if you have a question, 844-44-Dr.Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. By the way, that number rings through our offices when we're not on the air. So if you want to make an appointment, you can do it on the website, or you can call 844-44-Dr.Joe. Ricky, how can we make your day better?
Yes, sir. I'm having hip replacement surgery in a couple of weeks, and I want to know what nutritional advice can you share with me that will speed up the healing.
Oh, Ricky, that was a great question because we want to get you healthy going into the surgery and want to have you healthy coming out of the surgery. And that's why so many doctors and hospitals send us patients pre-surgical. Now, we may not be able to stop the surgery from happening, but they want to get people healthy. Because here's the thing with doctors now, everybody's being graded. They actually have a checkoff sheet, so to speak, and they monitor, did you do well? Did you come back? How many times you come back? Was there any complications from the surgery? And so the doctors don't want to get a bad mark on their report card, so a lot of them are sending their patients to us so that we can get them well going into the surgery and then coming out of it. So to answer your questions, you want to stay away from all the inflammatory foods. That would be what? Alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, and pastas. Because inflammation is the killer not metaphorically the killer, when it comes to surgery. You got to bring down that inflammation. So Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. I would take nitric oxide, but I would stop it about a week before the surgery.
Can I keep taking the Super Greens and Essential Source?
Yes, take that. You can take that probably maybe a few days before the surgery. You might want to stop because it can thin your blood a little bit. So maybe, let's say a week before the surgery, cut out the nitric oxide, the Super Greens, the Essential Source, just to be safe. Make sure you're drinking a lot of water. That's really important. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. And I want you to have something raw at every meal. Now, when I say raw, broccoli, cucumbers, tomatoes, avocados, salad. Raw food is going to give you enzymes, and enzymes are going to help break down the inflammation. I'd also recommend Dr. Joe's Enzyme Support because we have a supplement for that, and the enzymes are going to help break down that inflammation as well.
Okay.
Okay, got it?
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right, Ricky, let me know how the surgery turns out. Thanks so much. Yeah, folks, it's important that you do take care of yourself, and if we do need medical intervention, I support that 100%. There's a big medical group I work with, Polaris Neurosurgical, and I was in there the other day giving a workshop for the doctors and what's called the mid-levels on how to deal with chronic pain patients and how to get them healthy. And then we talked about diet and adjustments, chiropractic care, and fixing the stomach for acid reflux and heartburn. And so it's really cool that a place like Polaris Neurosurgical would have a chiropractor, and we work back and forth. We refer back and forth all the time, teaching these doctors other alternatives, other approaches. I'm not a surgeon. If you need surgery, I'm going to send you to the best surgeon I know. But now they're sending them to what I hope they think is the best chiropractic care they know so that we can get the people well together. That's our goal, is to work together as a team to get people well. All right, so we got a lot more to cover. We only have about two more segments here. But I want to talk about suppressing negative emotions. And that could be bad too. I know it sounds like, but Dr. Joe, you just said this and now you said that. If you suppress your anger, it can triple your risk of heart attacks, and risks associated with suppression are even greater than people who didn't suppress their anger. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. If you have a healthcare question, give me a call. The number here at the studio, 844-44-Dr. Joe, DRJOE. My website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. If you want to make an appointment to come see us, you can do it online. You can call us at 844-44-Dr. Joe. All the supplements we talked about are on the website, drjoe.com, along with over 1,000 hours of podcasts. Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you scared of the food?
Lots of messages here. I feel important. Okay.
Pick one.
Sure. Okay. Yes.
And then if you'll read that.
More notes. Okay, got it. Holy cow. More notes up here.
If you can make it fit.
Okay.
All right. Now, the question that I have for you. Water. That's the question.
That's it, water? Yes.
No.
Yes is the answer.
So we have a filter on our kitchen sink, and we've been drinking water without buying as much bottled water.
Of course, yeah.
That was the whole point. Two questions, however. What is your opinion on how well the filters work in filtering out unwanted stuff? And second question, do you know anything about the unhealthy plastic used in the bottles of bottled water?
Yes and yes. Yes, I have a water filter in my house. I have a company called Pure Life Water. It's a big water filter. If you're going to get a water filter, you got to spend some money, is the bottom line. It's going to cost you a few $1,000s. My thought process is it's well worth it because you're not buying bottled water. And if it's in a plastic bottle, like this person said, the plastic can leach chemicals called endocrine disrupting chemicals, like bisphenol A, into the water. And then the water becomes toxic. So you got a bottled water that's now toxic for you. You don't want that. So that's why I strongly recommend a water filter. Now, if you don't have several $1,000s to spend, I totally get that. You can get an under-the-counter water filter, and you can do that as well. But I went ahead and spent the money because I want every drop of water in my house filtered. And I notice my hair is fluffier, my skin is softer, I don't use as much soap.
Yeah, you don't think about a shower.
Yeah, shower. When you shower, If you're taking a warm shower, you're absorbing as much chlorine as 8 glasses of water that you just drank. And that chlorine is an antibiotic. We talk about that all the time, how dangerous antibiotics are in large usage. Sometimes they're necessary. But why give it to yourself every day when you don't need it? So if you have chlorine evaporating from your toilet, if you have children, they're soaking in a bathtub, you definitely want to get that water clean. So to me, it's worth the investment, absolutely, positively. And I wouldn't use plastic. I would use glass if you can, or at least a hard plastic. But just get a water filter. That's what I have in my teas that I drink, and my water that I drink, and the water I bathe in, brush my teeth in. It's all, every drop is filtered.
Biggest selling point for me was the fact that being in Atlanta, we have very little real water. It's all recycled
Yeah,
water.
like 70 or 80% of our water is recycled from when you flush your toilets. And you can filter out germs and viruses and bacteria, but let's assume I'm taking birth control pills, or I'm taking statin drugs, or I'm taking lotions that I put on my skin. All of that's being flushed out of my body, goes into my toilet, it's flushed, recycled, that's not filtered out. So birth control pills and blood pressure medication and everything else is little tiny amounts of it are probably showing up in the water. That's why you need a good water filter that's going to filter out most of that stuff as well. So,
you have anything?
I have a lot of questions.
All right.
Okay, good.
Does stress and depression raise uric acid levels?
Yes, because it causes muscle spasms. So muscle spasms, they create uric acid, and you don't have the good blood to flush it out. So yes. Also, fructose. Fructose has to be converted into glucose in the liver, and in that process, it creates uric acid. And uric acid prevents the body from producing nitric oxide, which opens up your blood vessels. So a lot of people are having sexual dysfunction because they're taking a lot of fructose in their body, building up, preventing nitric oxide production, which increases circulation. So the answer is yes.
Now, Misty, one of our favorites.
Misty's everywhere.
If not at least my favorite.
Misty was on
Instagram, now she's on Facebook. She's everywhere.
Not sure how to phrase this, but
Okay.
I'm almost 39, and I've been a vegan for 1 year. I've never had kids and don't plan on it.
Okay.
Is there anything that I should know about changes in hormones moving towards menopause? Is there a difference compared to childbearing women versus non-childbearing women? And if so, what should I expect?
Well, here's the thing, Misty. If your parents didn't have children, chances are you won't either. Think about that. If you didn't get it, think about it. There are hormone differences that happen with women that have babies and don't have babies. The bottom line for you, Misty, is if you're taking care of yourself, you're a vegan, chances are menopause is just going to come and go. It's not going to be a big deal. If menopause becomes an issue, there are supplements we can talk about, black cohosh, black seed oil, we talked about that. So there are things we can do, but at this point in your life, as long as you're taking care of yourself and making sure adrenal glands are healthy, because the adrenal glands produce your sex hormones along with your ovaries, you should be fine. And then chiropractic care, of course, to open up the nerve supply to the organs, that's vital as well.
Okay, where was it? Is a whole foods, plant-based diet the way to go?
Well, yeah. That's a resounding yes. If there was a better diet than the one I'm on right now, I'd be doing it. If there were better supplements than the ones I take, I'd be doing it. I have access to any healthcare service I want in the world. And these are the ones I choose because I know that they're the best. And I said, if you knew what I knew, you would do what I do. It's just that simple. So the answer is yes. Whole food, plant-based diet. I can't imagine anything better than that.
Back to Misty's question about childbearing versus not childbearing. I spent
Yes.
a little bit of time doing some Googling.
Okay. Thank God for Google. Dr. Google.
Turns out you can actually live longer if you don't have kids.
Yeah, well, you don't kill yourself or them. And you don't spend time in jail, so that's why.
they did. They attributed it to the stress of it.
Oh, absolutely. And
now-
people that live really long lives, they either had a really good marriage or they were never involved either way. Like one or the other, you know?
And then continuing with the water, is there a difference between a carbonated water and a non-carbonated water?
Yes, when they put carbon in the water, when they carbonate the water, it creates it's slightly acidic. That's why if you have stains on your shirt, you can put carbonated water on it, it'll dissolve the stains. It's slightly acidic. That being said, if that's your biggest sin, I'm okay with that. I'd rather you get your own carbonation maker. They have them now, these little soda makers. This way it doesn't sit in a can because it's slightly acidic, or a plastic bottle. It's going to dissolve a little bit of the can in the bottle. That's why I'd rather see you make your own.
And what's the name of the water filtration company?
Pure Life Water Georgia.
Pure Life Water Georgia, yeah.
It's actually purelifewaterga.com.
Oh, you know the website too.
I do.
Very handy.
I helped order it.
Garrett is so smart.
Now,
Chances are you'd benefit from chiropractic care. Most people benefit from chiropractic care because chiropractic care tries to get to the cause of your problems and not just cover up the symptoms. If you're ready to get well, I want you to go to my website, drjoe.com, or call 844-44-DR-JOE and make an appointment for you, your friends, and your family today. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Make an appointment today so we can help get you well and keep you well.
You can predict your health future by looking at your refrigerator. Learn what you should eat and what not to eat to get healthy. Dr. Joe Esposito is on News 95.5 and AM 750 WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're there because we're talking about how emotions affect your health, positive and negative. And if you're just tuning in, you missed an amazing first part of the show. We broke it down from the physiological standpoint of how the brain sends messages from one part to another part to another part to the adrenal glands and what happens and then what you need to do to get the brain to reboot itself. So I don't want to go over that all again because a lot of folks are listening to the whole show. But if you just tuned in, go to my website, drjoe.com, and you can listen to the whole show. It'll be there tomorrow. And we have over 1,000 hours of other shows there as well. And I love it when people stop me in grocery stores or airports and they say, "You're Dr. Joe." And I'm like, "Yeah." They say, "Oh my gosh, I watch your videos all the time." Oh, and then they start, they tell me their personal story. I started taking Super Greens, an essential source. It changed my life. I got chiropractic care. You guys are amazing. So it's always fun to hear that. And it happens every day, multiple times a day. So it's really a lot of fun. And I always say, the biggest complaint I get from my patients is, why didn't I do this sooner? And the answer is, I don't know. So you don't want to you don't want to have too much anger, don't suppress it either. So trying to pretend you don't feel what you feel or judging your emotions harshly can cause more stress than just feeling it and moving on. That's why I always laugh. I said my friend Johnny was visiting me. He's an Italian. And when the Italians get together, people think, why are you always yelling at each other? We're not yelling. That's how we communicate. And we don't take it personally. You say something, okay, you're right, you move on. And think about that, constructive criticism. And now if the person is mean and being passive-aggressive, that's something different. But if it truly is constructive criticism, that's okay. And so take it for what it's worth and move on. Because you know what? Most people really don't care. They'll say their thing and they're more worried about their stuff than yours. So getting things to roll off your back is kind of important, but I know that's tough to do. How do you get it to do it?
Yeah, isn't that the 5-year rule? It doesn't matter. If it's not going to matter in 5 years from now.
Exactly, yes.
Don't spend more than 5 minutes worrying about it.
Perfect way to think about it, yeah. That's Garrett, by the way, in case you don't know who that voice was. That's Garrett. And yeah, that's exactly right. Think about it. What's going to happen? A year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years, is going to matter. Back to Alan Parsons, in the midst of time. It's a great song called Old and Wise. And now that I'm older, nothing matters. These things, little words that tossed and threw me like autumn winds blow right through me. I'm quoting Alan Parsons. I hope he's listening, man. Alan, call me. But it's a great line. And then I always said that's a song I want played at my funeral called Old and Wise. And little things that bother you now, someday are just going to blow right through you. It's not going to matter. So that's a good rule to follow, the 5-year rule. So don't pretend it doesn't bother you if it does, and then deal with it. And you know what? If it really is an issue, whatever that issue is, go get some mental health. Go get some help. I support counseling 1 million times over. And a lot of counselors will send us patients. Because if you listen to my shows on the gut-brain connection, we talk about how the stomach's job is to take proteins and break them into amino acids. And amino acid tryptophan becomes serotonin in your brain. And serotonin makes you happy and helps you focus. And tyrosine becomes dopamine, and glutamine becomes GABA and norepinephrine. And so if you're not digesting your food properly, you can't get the amino acids to produce the neurotransmitters. And so many people with emotional issues have a physical problem that's related to it. So acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, that's what's happening. And many times you got to come see us for us to fix that. And if you want to make an appointment, go to my website, drjoe.com. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge, the Atlanta area. We'd love to see you as patients. So repressed emotions such as anger, fear, frustration, and rage are also a contributing factor to chronic pain. Now, as chiropractors, my team of doctors, we see chronic pain patients every day. In fact, I think I'm the only chiropractor board certified in pain management in the whole state. And so pain management docs work with us as well because they get stuck too. You can only give people so many drugs and opioids, and they go, well, we don't know what else to do. Dr. Joe, can your team of doctors step in and help us? We work on the nervous system, we work on the digestive system, and we work on getting them on good supplements like Super Greens, Essential Source, B-Complex, vitamin D, nitric oxide, things like that. So you got to, when it comes to pain patients, we don't just treat the spine, we treat the muscles, we treat everything to try to get the patient well as quickly as possible. And the more the patient follows our advice, in most cases, the better off they are. So I want to talk about chronic anger and the link to dementia, which is pretty interesting. How they did this study is really cool. But let's take a call first. Lisa, how can we make your day better?
Hey, Dr. Joe, how you doing today?
I'm well.
I was calling. My mom's been having diarrhea bad, and when she goes out, she can't go nowhere but to the bathroom, and I was wondering what she could do for it.
Well, a couple of things with that. Number one is we want to check the stomach to see if it's up against the diaphragm. But in many cases in chronic diarrhea, there's a little valve between the small and large intestine called the Ileocecal Valve.
Uh-huh.
And if that valve, what happens is food goes from your stomach into your small intestine and the valve closes. The food is then digested in the small intestine, nutrients are absorbed, and then the valve opens and it passes from your small intestine into your large intestine. Then the valve closes again, and then the water is absorbed, and then it's passed out when you go to the bathroom normally. In Mom's case, chances are the valve is stuck open, and the food is passing from the small intestine into the large intestine without the water being absorbed, and it's coming right out. So in many cases, we check that. Then we got to make sure that there's not a bacterial infection or a viral infection in the colon. We want to make sure that there's not something irritating the bowels, like irritable bowel syndrome. So there's several things we want to do, but the first thing I would check is the nerves in her low back. They control the ileocecal valve, and then the ileocecal valve itself.
So if the valve's open, do you have to have surgery to close
No,
it?
most cases we can adjust it. We can actually go in there and adjust it to get it to close. So, yeah. Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, have a good evening then.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, bring her in. We'll come see us. If you want to see us, folks, again, drjoe.com, offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Or, you know what? Lines are open right now. We have another segment and a half here. 844-44-Dr. Joe. If you have a question, give us a call. So we're talking today about how emotions affect your health, good emotions and bad emotions. A lot of good stuff in today's show. You probably want to listen to it again at drjoe.com. Your brain also suffers negative consequences when you're chronically angry. As an example, a form of chronic anger known as cynical distrust, that's an actual word, has been linked to significantly higher risk of dementia. Cynical distrust is described as the belief that most people are out for themselves as opposed to looking out for others. And you've probably all met people like that. The world is out to get them, and everybody's going to hurt them, and nobody's looking out for they have to fight their own battles, and nobody cares about them. To some extent, that's probably true. But with cynical distrust, it can actually lead to things like dementia. So, dangerous for a number of ways. For example, this is what the research shows. Women with cynical, hostile attitudes are more likely to die prematurely and have higher rates of death from coronary heart disease than women with positive future expectations. So, if you're cynical and rotten and mean, chances are you're going to die sooner. People with cynical attitudes may suffer more from stress and do not get as much of the stress buffering benefits offered by positive social support. Because we've all met people like that. You just don't want to be around them. They're just grumpy old men, grumpy old ladies. And when they get like that, you don't want to be around them, so they don't have the benefit now of a social circle. And that's really important as well, because hanging out with people is important. And it's important that you have a sounding board. And here's the thing, folks. If you just want to vent, it's a good idea when you're talking to your friends, your coworkers, your family, whatever it is, you can say, listen, I just need to vent for a second. That person hopefully is going to hear you and say, okay, I'm going to let you vent for a few minutes. Go right ahead. And then you just need to say it, and then it's over, and then you move on. Now, I don't know if you ever read the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and what Gray, I think is the guy who wrote it, what he talks about is that men, they go into their cave, and they don't, they just kind of isolate themselves, where women want to talk. And this is where the problem men and women oftentimes have. A woman just wants to talk, and a man wants to fix things. And a woman doesn't want to fix, they just want to talk. But a man wants to fix things. Okay, Garrett and Sierra are smiling at each other here. But it's true. And so this is why I think it's really important for women to have girl time, because girls understand that. I remember one time watching an episode of Friends. Oh, I hear the music. Oh, one of my favorite songs in the world. Folks, got to go to a break. Oh, gosh. There it is, Alan Parsons.
I hate to cut you off, sorry.
That's quite all right. No, Old and Wise, one of my favorites. All right, folks, we got to run. If you have a question, give us a call, 844-44-Dr. My website, drjoe.com. Hey, don't go anywhere. Tell your friends about the show. I'll be right back.
I still want to hear this.
Does this sound like you? Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, headaches? Chances are you benefit from chiropractic care. Most people benefit from chiropractic care because chiropractic care tries to get to the cause of your problems and not just cover up the symptoms. If you're ready to get well, I want you to go to my website, drjoe.com, or call 844-44-Dr.Joe and make an appointment for you, your friends, and your family today. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Make an appointment today so we can help get you well and keep you well.
Belinda Skelton here for Soda Pro Painter.
Okay, that's Old and Wise. If I die before you, that's the song I want at my funeral. Old and Wise, Alan Parsons. Okay. Good.
If you die after me, what do you want me to play?
That's good. Hey Mo.
My son is 13. The top of his feet burn and itch, not all the time, but frequently if he's on his feet a lot. I first saw Athlete's Foot, bought the spray, no help. Your thoughts?
He needs to do more housework. Tell him Dr. Joe said he needs to do more housework. You'll love that one, right? It could be several things. Many times when it's foot problems, it's a pinched nerve in the low back. Because the nerves in the low back control everything from the waist down. Back pain, leg pain, hip pain, knee pain. And many times it could be a pinched nerve in the low back. And so if it's not a rash, if not anything visual, I would try checking the low back nerves and see what's going on there. It could be a circulatory issue too. If his feet are cold, it might be.
Shoes are too tight.
Shoes can be too tight. That's another issue as well. And also you might want to check your clothes soap that you use. Because clothes soap many times causes irritation. I had a roommate named Kay. Whatever happened? Kay Swain. Whatever happened to Kay? Anyway, she was my roommate, and she was so nice. She'd actually fold my laundry. And it was so wonderful that she'd take my clothes to the washer and put it in the dryer and then fold it. It was great. And right as soon as Kay moved in with me, and again, we were just friends, I had this horrible itch all over my body. Never correlated it. Then one day I went and got my clothes out of the dryer, and she was putting dryer sheets. And dryer sheets are highly toxic. And it was causing this itch. I asked her not to do it anymore. She stopped doing it. Itch went away. So check your clothes soap because socks are really close to the feet, and that could be causing a problem as well. So check the clothes soap, see if there's anything else causing irritation. Garrett said tight shoes, and if that's not it, check the nerves in the low back.
I used
Mr.
to
G.
do that to me all the time when my shoes were too tight. Does vitamin K clot the blood?
Yeah, well, that's the whole point of it. No, vitamin K thins the blood. Okay, so what's happening is it's thinning the blood, and if you're on a blood thinner, it can make it too thin. Oh no, vitamin K clots the blood, right? That's yes, that's why you don't want to do the vitamin K. Yes, so so that's why it's careful.
Back up and reiterate.
Let me reiterate. Yes, I was going backwards there. So vitamin K helps the clotting mechanism in the blood. If you're on blood thinners, it can be counterproductive for the blood thinner, and so that's why doctors will say don't eat green leafy vegetables if you're taking blood thinners because it has vitamin K in it. Or take the vitamin K and monitor your blood. And here's the secret. Many times when you get on a good diet, you don't need the blood thinners anymore.
So rather than wrap your diet around your medication.
Right. Wrap your medication around your diet. Exactly. Yeah. So Garrett's pretty smart. He has a good prefrontal cortex.
It's all those video games.
I think it's working here. Yes. Tell him. Sierra gave him a look. Like, don't be
Y'all
stupid.
could see some of the looks she gives me during the show.
Oh, it's hysterical. We really got to put cameras on you guys one day and just put it on you because you're the show.
If I could get rid of my brain fog, I could concentrate to make the right choices for my health. I used to be vegan years ago and I want to go back, but I need help with the plan, which Dr. Joe can help you with.
Dun, 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 dun.
And she is out of state. Can she do the medical or the doctor-assisted weight loss program from out of state?
Absolutely. We can do nutritional evaluations anywhere in the world. We can do it over the phone. We do them a lot, actually. Or we can do Skype if you want to see my pretty face. But yes, we can do that. So what I would recommend is a doctor-assisted weight loss program. Then we go to step 2 and go back to being vegan. And I think you'll be very happy.
Okay, and then back to the boy that has itchy feet. He has one leg longer than the other. Where's the lift on orthotic?
Yep, there it is.
Tendon always tight.
Probably a pinched nerve in the low back.
So that's probably what's
That's
causing
probably
it.
the whole thing there. Yep. So come have him come see us, and we'll hopefully get that fixed. Duluth, Stockbridge, and Marietta in the Atlanta area.
Here's an easy one.
Real quick. Hurry up,
Do you help with type 2 diabetes?
Yes. How's that for a quick answer? Can't make promises, but yeah, we've helped a lot of type 2 diabetics. And go to my website. I know we've done shows on diabetes, and just look, do the search engine, and you listen to the shows. All right, coming back soon. Last sec. Holy cow! The shows. This is it. So you want me to do my friend's story? Is that what you want?
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you a friend's story. Okay.
You'll ask yourself, why did
Dr. Joe Esposito on News 95.5 and AM 750 WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. We're talking about how emotions affect your health. And I started telling a story about the show Friends, and Garrett and Sierra are like, gotta tell that story. Okay, so the first time that Ross and Rachel kiss, okay? Rachel goes to the girls, to Monica and Lisa Kudrow, whatever her name was, Phoebe. And she says, oh my God, Ross and I kissed. And they say, oh, unplug the phone, get the ice cream, sit down. You got to tell us all the details. And they start going on and on and on and on. And then Ross tells the guys, Rachel and I kissed. And Joey says, give her tongue? Yeah. Cool. And they moved on. And so that's how guys and girls think. And it's just the way the brain is set up. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It is what it is. So many times, ladies, if you're trying to talk to your man and he's not paying attention, he's just being a guy. He wants to fix the problem. I can't believe this girl at work. Well, then you should quit your job and you should do this and you should talk to the boss. No, I don't need advice. I just want to vent. And men, we want to get things fixed. That's just our person. Generally speaking, these are all general terms here, of course. But I just remember that Friends story being so different between the way the girls reacted and the guys reacted to the exact same thing. So that's the funny part of it there. All right, let's take some more callers here. Last segment. Gosh, this goes so quick. Sam, how can we make your day better? Hello, Sam. Sam, going once.
Dr. Joe.
There you go. Yes, sir.
Hey, my question is about hand eczema, and I've tried all the steroid creams and everything that there is.
Sure.
I know stress can cause some of these symptoms, but I was wondering what your thought was on some of the diets that I've heard of, or maybe even fasting,
Sure.
or if you have any other ideas on.
I do. Whenever I see a skin condition, I always think liver. So the first thing I want you to do, Sam, is I want you to give up all wheat, anything with wheat, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, anything with wheat, and I want you to give up all dairy products as well. And most people, when they give up wheat and dairy products, it takes the stress off the immune system, because eczema many times is an immune reaction, and the problem goes away, or it certainly gets better. Okay? So let's give up the wheat and the dairy first. Let's see how we do. Give that about 2 weeks. If it doesn't solve the problem totally, then we probably want to do a liver flush. Okay, we can get you on some certain herbs like a milk thistle, and that can help clean out the liver as well. And in most cases, the second phase will help there. But most people, just giving up the wheat and the dairy, the eczema goes away. So let's try that first.
Okay, and is that like a long-term, forever type thing?
Well, how long you want to have eczema or not have eczema? What usually happens is people give it up, they see the amazing results, then they cheat, and the eczema comes back, and they go, oh, Dr. Joe was right. Oh, I hate that. And then you got to decide what you want to do from there. But most people say, Dr. Joe was right. All right, give it a shot. Let me know how it goes. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. All right, so we're talking today about emotions and how they affect your body. And we started talking about people that are cynical and how that can adversely affect their health. Cynical hostility is associated with poor oral health. So when you're stressed out, it can actually affect your mouth. Cynical hostility is associated with increased markers of inflammation, which could contribute to other health problems and dementia. So if you're cynical and if you're a grumpy old man or a grumpy old lady, again, you're not having the social contacts many times. People are avoiding you because they don't want to be around you because you're grumpy. And that can cause problems. And now we're finding that when you're cynical, it can increase inflammation in your body. Every disease known to man has an inflammatory component. And we have to manage inflammation for the body to get well. And we do that by avoiding chemicals, hairsprays, perfumes, new car smells. If I get my car washed, oftentimes they'll hand me an air freshener. I'm good. Keep it. Thank you. I don't need that. My car's fine the way it is. So don't put any excess chemicals or a mold. If you smell mold in your house, I was listening to one of my coworkers here, Dave Baker, the other day, and somebody called in and said, how do you know if you have mold in your house? And he said, does it smell like mold? I said, yeah. He says, you have mold in your house. So it's just that simple. So if you have mold in your house, get that fixed, get it remediated, because mold can be deadly. So if your house stinks, if you got housetosis, that was a word, I don't even know if you ever heard that word. That was a word I remember hearing years ago. If you have housetosis, it was, if your house stinks, maybe there's something wrong and you got to get that fixed. So be careful with the things you put in your body and only put anti-inflammatory things in your body. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, nitric oxide, B complex is good to help the nervous system work. So take care of yourself. It's a whole lot cheaper and a whole lot more fun to be healthy than to be sick. Cynical people are associated with increased metabolic burden during middle age and older adults. So they'll get metabolic syndrome, they'll get fatter, they'll get the beer gut. We call it beer gut. It's really called part of metabolic syndrome. It can lead to diabetes and blood pressure issues. So start thinking about this and start mapping your emotions. So what I want you to do, some possible emotions underlying aches and pains can come up in different parts of the body. So when you start thinking about every time I get stressed out, I have a neck pain, or I have stomach pain, or I have diarrhea, or I have cramps or something like that, start mapping it out and see where it's going with this. Neck pain oftentimes associated with stubbornness. Shoulder pain is associated with lack of joy. So if you're not having a lot of happiness in your life, it could be that you're not digesting your food properly, so you're not getting the neurotransmitters, because you need the amino acids to produce the neurotransmitters, and so that could be why you don't have a lot of happiness in your life, because you're not capable of experience pleasure, because the dopamine levels are low, or maybe the serotonin levels are low. 95% of the serotonin in your body is not used in your brain. It's used in your gut. So 95% of that serotonin, I think we talked about that last week. And if you missed last week's show, go to my website, drjoe.com, and you can catch it there. We have over 1,000 hours of podcasts there, audio and video. You could download them, watch them if you want, and start learning. Look up topics that you're interested in. Chances are we've done a show. We've done over 1,000 hours of them, so chances are we have a show in there. So sensations in the digestive system and around the throat are mainly found when people are disgusted, when you're in a state of disgust. But many times the digestive issue could be linked to other issues. So how do we nurture? We only got a few more minutes left. How do we nurture our emotional wellness? We have to take care of the nervous system. We have to take care of the digestive system. And we have to make sure that you're getting the right nutrients in your body. And sleep is so important. Try different pillows. Try different beds. And here's the thing. If you have pain, chances are you're not going to sleep. Every day in our offices, patients come to us, see my doctors and say, Doc, I can't sleep because of the pain. And we say, okay, let's see if we can get rid of the pain. And then patients call up, like we had several callers earlier, and say, you guys are miracle workers. We're not miracle workers. We just know how the body works. And if we get the body put back in place, it works. So if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, come see us. If it's something we can help, we think we can help. We can never promise anything. We'll tell you. If it's something we don't think we can help, we're going to tell you that too. We're not going to waste your time or ours. We send people out for MRIs or surgical evaluations if they need it. If they don't, they stay with us. And doctors send their patients to us as well. But stop suffering. And if you've ever been in a car accident, ever, if the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. I've never seen a car accident ever where the occupants weren't damaged. So please come see us right away. I don't want you getting caught up, maybe there's scam doctors out there, there's scam lawyers out there. I don't want you getting caught up in all that. I want to make sure that you're taken care of. My concern is your health. And if there's a settlement that comes with it, all the better. That's great. But my concern is make sure that you get better. And that's for your friends, your family, and your children. Folks, bring your kids in, because if kids have straight spines, they grow straight. If they're crooked, they grow crooked. All right, time's up. If you missed the show, go to my website, drjoe.com. Well over 1,000 hours there. I want to make an appointment to come see us, drjoe.com or 844-44-DR-JOE during business hours. We'll get you set up as soon as possible. All the supplements are on the website, drjoe.com. And if you're not in the Atlanta area where we have our offices, we can also do phone consultations. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Catch you next time. Hi. All right, social media folks, thanks for being here. Yes?
You have time for 2 more?
Go ahead.
Okay. Do you recommend working on a rebounder for nerve damage?
Yes.
And lastly, what about teen depression?
Yes, very, very common. In fact, I have a whole segment. We have a whole show on that, don't we, coming up?
Yes.
We have a whole show on that 'cause it's so
Stay
pervasive.
tuned.
You what?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned on that one. But for teen depression, get them to come see us right away. We got to get the nervous system working. We got to get the digestive system working. Many teens are not digesting their food. They have a lot of gas. They're ticklish. These are all signs the digestive system isn't working. So have them come see us, and we'll get them on a good diet. But at least Super Green's an essential source every day, and vitamin D.
I could think back to high school being literally the point of the worst diet I ever had.
Of course, absolutely. So, yep, got to get that fixed. And if we didn't get to your questions, folks, just send it to us through the website. We're more happy to answer them for you. All right, we're good?